The Los Angeles Clippers had the pick of the litter in the 2009 NBA draft, and they did not make a mistake. At least we don't think they did. We welcome you to our Atlanta studios here at NBA TV. Rick Kamla, NBA insider David Aldridge, longtime NBA vet Eric Snow, and former college coach and NBA scout Ron Thompson. We're here to talk about the Clippers and their pick of Blake Griffin. And as you take a look right here at some recent history, last year the Clippers...
That's a gap. That's a gap. That's
a huge... Look at the other Lakers. What were they, at plus 10 on the rest of the West? That's a joke. 19 above their bitter rivals from Phoenix. And as you can see, 46 games better than their crosstown rivals, the LA Clippers, who won the lottery. The Sacramento Kings at the bottom down, their worst record in basketball. They lost the lottery, going from the probability of 25% tops overall all the way down to the fourth pick. Bottom line is this. The LA Clippers won the lottery. They had the number one pick, and they took Blake Griffin. And our cameras were there in the Clippers war room when Mike Dunleavy told the people in New York who he wanted, and then the reaction when David Stern named Blake Griffin the pick.
Let me think about it, Carolyn. All right, Blake Griffin. There you go. Correct. Thank you. Bye.
Well, congratulations.
Done deal. Here we go. Sterling?
Yep. Select Blake Griffin.
So that's always kind of a surreal deal because they know that the commissioner is going to sit, but they got to act excited.
It would have been funny. It would have been funny if David Stern had come out and said, Taylor Griffin. Just kidding.
I mean, it's like your parents telling you your Christmas present, and then you got to open it up and act surprised, like you didn't know it was actually coming. Bottom line, the Christmas present that came early for the LA Clippers is Blake Griffin. Received 14 different Player of the Year honors. I didn't know there were 14 different Player of the Year honors. And for more that we may not have known about Blake Griffin, here is his interview after the draft with TNT and NBA TV's Craig Sager.
Well, for 6 weeks, the worst-kept secret is now official. Blake Griffin, the number one pick in the draft. And what was it like for you in this past 6 weeks, knowing what everybody else knew, that you're going to be a Clipper?
It kind of put my mind at ease a little bit. But at the same time, I kept telling myself nothing's set in stone, and just be patient and wait. And it turned out to be how everybody expected it.
We talk about the Clippers. Obviously, they have a bright future now. A new Clipper organization, Mike Dunleavy turning things around there. But the fact that they've won only 2 winning seasons in the past 30 years, what type of pressure does that put on you?
I mean, not a lot, just because I know it's not all on me just to turn it around. I know that they have a lot of great players, and I'm surrounded by good players, and hopefully I can just come in and help out.
For the past 14 years or so, you and your brother Taylor have been inseparable, always playing on the same team. What are your thoughts about Taylor sitting there at that table with you? When you go number one, you know that he has a long wait before he's selected?
That's the way he wanted it. He wanted to be there for me, and I want to be there for him. So, I'm excited about his opportunity, and I hope the best for him.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Blake Griffin's brother Taylor was drafted in the second round, so both the brothers got their day in the sun out there in New York. Blake Griffin figures to be a stud in the NBA. But you have Camby, you have Kaman, you have Zach Randolph. Did the Clippers get close to moving one of those three existing bigs before the draft?
They've had discussions for a while, obviously, about Kaman and Camby, and they're looking to see which one they can move. It's harder to move Kaman because he has a trade kicker in his contract, makes it more expensive for the team that's acquiring him, so there's less interest in him. My suspicion is that Marcus Camby will be the guy who's moved. Zach Randolph is a guy that Mike Dunleavy likes very much, and obviously Blake Griffin's going to be their guy of the future. So I think that Camby will be the guy that doesn't survive the offseason in L.A.
Eric, I'm a guy who likes to fast forward to the end of the book. I like to call guys Hall of Famers before anybody else. Yeah. I like to, try to gauge how many All-Star appearances a guy is going. It's just basketball conversation. But either reel me in,
yes,
Or just break it down. How good is this guy going to be? What kind of resume is he going to have 10, 12 years from now?
I think if you look at him, the kind of player he is, if you look at his body, his mold, it's sort of in the mold of a Karl Malone, a young Karl Malone. Whether he get those numbers, we will never see. But if you look at just his body, his physical nature, now if he has that drive and he get in the right system, he can come in to still develop his game like the mailman did, then yeah, you can have a guy that could be a potentially future Hall of Famer. But I think he's a guy that will make some All-Star games because I think he can make All-Star games off his natural talent, athletic ability, rebounding, blocking shots, being athletic. And then when his offensive game develops even more, that's when you know he'll be a consistent All-Star.
Ron, what's the thing he needs to work on the most and the hardest to get where Eric's talking about?
Well, first of all, I think just his basketball IQ. I think as it relates to the NBA game, we know he's physically strong. People think that when you come into the league, a lot of times it's a little bit easier than they think until you get there. I think he just has to learn. I think time will be his biggest obstacle. I think he's going to have to work on the defensive aspect of it. You can't just sit behind guys. You have to do your work early. In college, he kind of pumped his brakes a little bit on defense because they didn't want him to get into foul trouble. On the offensive end, I think he has to work on his 15 to probably 18-foot, his pick and pop, those little medium-range jump shots, that sort of thing.
Is he going to get that?
I think so because he has decent touch and he'll work at it. He's a workaholic. He'll drill. He'll will himself to get better in that area.
Well, bottom line, the LA Clippers have a star-studded, talented roster right now, whether they make any moves or not.
Right, please, I'm begging you. Mike Dunleavy, Baron Davis, just meet each other halfway. You come this little halfway. This can be a good team next year. If those two will figure out a way to coexist with each other. You don't have to like each other. Just coexist with each other.
Just win games together is what DA is saying, and that's what your owner, Donald Sterling, is saying as well. Blake Griffin to LAC with the #1 pick. For more on the 2009 NBA Draft and its fallout, go to NBA.com.